30+% growth is a lot. We'll probably end the year mid 40s, and it is a lot to manage. I'm sure there's a lot to it, but how did you think about managing that?
One, growth is actually really expensive. I think at our peak in a single year, we bought $6 million of trucks, right? After you upfitted them, shelving, lettering, and like it's eating your cash. So not only is it expensive in terms of the capital outlays you have to put in place, but the other way that it's expensive, if you're going to do it the right way and in a healthy and sustainable way, is you really have to lean into what I'll call your overhead infrastructure, your people infrastructure, leadership infrastructure, whether that's purchasing and customer experience and digital strategy and marketing and all these purchasing, supply chain, all these other different functions that if you don't really make some people investments in those areas, they're going to become pain points in the very near future. And so as a result, if you're keeping the toggle at this 30+% growth rate, you can see some margin compression happen from that because you're intentionally continuing to build the overhead body that your business needs next year and the following year. And you're building it a little bit earlier just to make that journey a little bit smoother, a little bit less turbulent. But I'll say this, culturally, growth and change and challenge into the opportunity that comes from it for promotions and advancement and new roles, that's become part of our culture. And at this point, I don't think it would be really hard to slow this thing down and to culturally say, you know what, we decided not to grow this year. I think everyone would look at me like I've got 3 heads.
How do you create a good process? How do you create something that works when you feel like you're flying so that it doesn't break again?
That's been a challenge every year. And I would say it's only been exacerbated recently because Nashville was our second market and we had this roofing acquisition. We've got another opportunity that we're looking to close on here in 4 weeks or so. Big business, big opportunity, big operation. And the constraint continues to be within all of our locations and across the different businesses is we need folks who understand our process playbook, who can execute it, and ultimately who can take ownership of everything within their span of care without having to reach up the chain to ask for help all the time, right? Those caliber of leaders that can do that and exercise sound judgment and make good decisions for the business, for the team, that is hard to find. And it continues to be a real challenge. We're trying to solve it a number of ways. Of course, we want to recruit externally when that makes sense, but we're also looking internally and saying, who are our really high potential rock stars? I mean, one of the gentleman who launched Nashville and who's been instrumental in our transformation of our roofing business, he started with us in our plumbing underground team as a laborer busting up concrete, right, in basements. And now we found him. He was a really talented individual that was working at the front line in our business, and we were able to develop and pull him up through our organization. And I'm sitting here today saying, I have no doubt there's 4 more of them inside of our business. How do I find them? And how do I start pouring into them today? And so we're trying to be really thoughtful around how we're building that talent internally.